Models in economics. Economic models are essential tools that help us understand complex systems by simplifying them. Let's take a closer look at two main types of models used in economics: theoretical models and empirical models. First, we have theoretical models. These are used to describe how certain economic mechanisms should work in principle, based on assumptions and logic. Think of a theoretical model like a blueprint for how the economy might behave. For example, a theoretical model might suggest, if wages rise, then employment will fall. This model assumes that when businesses face higher labor costs due to increased wages, they may hire fewer workers. On the other hand, we have empirical models. These models are grounded in real-world data, looking for patterns and testing if theoretical models actually hold true in practice. Let's say we collect data from different industries. We might find that as wages increase, employment indeed decreases in some sectors, supporting the theoretical model. But here's the twist. The data might also contradict the theory, revealing other factors, like technological changes or consumer demand, that impact employment beyond just wage increases. To put this into perspective, imagine a real-life analogy. A theoretical model is like a recipe. It tells you the ingredients and steps for making a dish, predicting the outcome. An empirical model, however, is like actually testing the recipe in the kitchen to see if the dish turns out as expected. Sometimes the dish is perfect. Other times, it needs adjustments, just like with economic models. In summary, while theoretical models offer a guide to understanding economic behavior, empirical models test these ideas in the real world to confirm or refine our understanding. Examples of models. Let's explore the relationship between wages and employment, using both theoretical and empirical models. In a theoretical model, we start with premises. For example, premise 1, if wages rise, employment will fall. Premise 2, wages are rising. From these premises, we can conclude that employment is falling. This is a deductive argument based on the theory, where the conclusion must follow from the premises if they are true. Now, empirical models come into play. These models test the theoretical relationship using real-world data. Economists would gather historical wage data and employment rates to see if there's actually a pattern that confirms or challenges the theory. For instance, they might compare wage and employment trends across different countries or time periods. By analyzing and visualizing this data, economists can assess whether the theory holds up in practice or if other factors are influencing the relationship. This process helps us refine our understanding of economic behavior and improve the accuracy of predictions. Writing mathematically. In economics, relationships between variables are often expressed through mathematical formulas, which help simplify and quantify how different factors are connected. Let's take a look at an example. Imagine we have the formula. The value of L is equal to 1 divided by W. L represents labor demand, and W represents wages. This formula shows an inverse relationship between wages and labor demand. In simpler terms, as wages increase, the demand for labor decreases. Let's walk through this with some examples. If wages are 2 units, we can plug that into the formula. The value of L is 1/2, which is equivalent to 0.5. This means that with wages at 2 units, the demand for labor is 0.5 units. Now, if wages increase to 4 units, we can substitute that into the formula. The value of L is 1/4, which is equivalent to 0.25. So, when wages rise to 4 units, labor demand drops to 0.25 units. As we see, as wages increase, the demand for labor decreases. In fact, if wages double, labor demand is halved. Now, let's think about a real-world scenario to better understand this relationship. Imagine a small business owner. If wages double, the owner might have to hire fewer workers in order to stay within the same budget. This directly illustrates the inverse relationship shown in the formula. where higher wages reduce a business's ability to hire as many workers. This mathematical approach helps us better understand and visualize economic behavior and the effects of changes in wages on employment.